Well, how's everybody doing out there? Happy New Year's Eve for those of you that give a shit about New Year's. New Year's Eve, Peasant Chat, last one of the year, last chat of the year. Next year, we're going to have a nice reset of the sponsor banner. If you want to become a sponsor, hit me up. I'm not looking to really give a lot of wiggle room. I think this show has a decent amount of influence where it's worth to have a sponsor banner up. The people that I'm happy with, they'll be contacted, but I'm going to just reset everything because, one, I want to clean up the sponsors. No need to have 16 sponsors on the channel. The other thing is I got to start getting, maximizing my funds if I'm going to keep getting screwed over on motor builds. So today what we're going to talk about is, are you a window licking fucktard? What does that mean? Well, if you follow Tim McAmis, he talks about pro mod guys specifically. See, he's in the pro mod world, and I've come across these guys that just because you have and own and pay for a fast car does not mean that you automatically know more than the next guy. I've come across crazy people where they basically say, well, this guy has been faster than you, so this guy knows more than you. And that couldn't be farther from the case. Just because you, let's say, bought a 6-second car or 7-second car, and it's a vetted car, and it goes A to B sevens, it doesn't necessarily mean you know more than a guy that has built his own stick shift Fox body, built his own motor, built his own trans, built his own rear end, built everything, and just wants to go 9s stick shift. I would say that the guy that built everything on his own and went 9s maybe has more experience and knows more about cars, but the guy that bought a 7-second car turnkey knows less. But that doesn't mean he doesn't know anything. That means he probably said, I'd rather just buy something vetted and go. But that doesn't mean just because he's faster that he knows more. And a lot of people, especially in the motor comments, I dropped I think 6 videos last week. That's what it looks like when I actually have time. Well, most of the videos were about taking the motor apart. But I did an interview with Justin Dugan. I did another dyno situation with Jake, and I believe Fox body stuff also. So I was trying to get you guys as much content as possible while I was off. So in the motor teardown videos, there's always people in there that go, Alex, you should totally take that bottom end apart and send it out. Hell, I'd get new pistons and a new crank if I were you. Not realizing that I am taking pictures of everything. I've taken all the cam caps off. I sent the pictures to many people that I trust to get their opinions on what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling and doing all the vetting. And they think that all I show you on the video is the only vetting I do and that I'm waiting for YouTube comments to tell me what to do. But if it was up to the people on the comment section, I would have to buy a billet block, billet crank, brand new pistons and rods to be okay for 11 or 1200 horsepower. Understanding that a short block, a 5.8 liter forged short block is over $12,000. You understand? Like that engine in good running order with good heads and valves that were actually replaced and springs that were actually replaced and making 11 or 1200 horse is worth about $20,000 to $23,000. Way more expensive than a Coyote. Not necessarily better, but more expensive just because there's less of them and it's expensive stuff. The 5.8, 5.4 stuff is on the expensive side, especially the 5.8 stuff. So we'll talk about the fact that have you come across people that, let's say, don't own a car, don't know anything about a car, but let's say they buy something. Don't own the car. Let's say they buy something and they have a tuner, a motor builder, but then you guys say, well, he has been this fast, so that means that guy knows more than you. I guarantee there are tuners, shop owners, people out there that have built cars for customers knowing that the owner is a window licking fucktard that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and has no clue about anything. He just pays the bill. Exactly. People think I'm waiting for YouTube comments to tell me what to do. Let's talk about it. But before we do that, we'll do the last Do It Live of 2023.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
That's right. And finally, for the last time this year, we're going to have this row of sponsors on the show. Two Auto Solutions, Rami Zainan, He's also looking to get into motor building and doing a whole bunch of stuff because even he doesn't trust the stuff that's going on out there, relying on motor builders on the Chevy and Ford side. And he's like, I'm going to take the reins and do it myself. 2 Auto Solutions. Race Motive, check them out. They got some road racing stuff going on. This spring? Race Motive, roll racing shit, Pocono Raceway and MIR. DNAHperformance.com, DNAH Performance, DNAH Performance on Instagram. They are the most consistent sponsor I've had this year. Their bill is paid on time every time. Part Farm, partfarm.com. The Part Farm Notch got a workout yesterday. Took to get washed up. Raced a couple of 392 Hellcat or 392 Chargers. Mopped them up easy. That's not even a competition for that car. I should look for Hellcats in that thing. Conk Performance, conkperformance.com. I'm going to send him my 2650 one of these days. Ultimate Header on Instagram, ultimateheader.com. PMAS, Nick James, PMAS. And Caliber Transmission, calibertransmission.com. Again, Corvette was supposed to go up there this week, but I was busy tearing apart this fucking motor situation that has consumed my life. And do you guys understand? I don't want to become a motor guy. I'd rather not know anything about motors. I'd rather just pay you. You give me a working product, and I live my life. Those days are apparently over. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze all fucking episode. I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be a terrible... I got up at 5:30 today. I was fine. Walked Tony. Did my thing. 10 minutes before the show's about to air, I freaking start getting allergies. So I took 2 Benadryl and a fucking Zyrtec. If I die on the show, we'll catch it live. Kellen Sox, Joe Swish, Kellen Sox again, 2000 MCR, Joe Jackson, The Wolf, Harley Gonzalez, JD Swags, Jared, Wesley Stewart, Coyote Kelly, Monty 540, EPA's in the house. EPA is always in the house. TJ Skorsky, RCSP Ricky B. Levash, RCSP Ricky Dixon, Clean 93 GT, Age of Puerto Rico, Mark Christensen, Craig Walls, Mr. Bill Noonan himself, Rich 50, Big Guns, Tiller, Bert Rowan, Hassan Abbas, James N.J., Chris Powell, Ultimate 89, Walter Hoffman, Brian 03 Cobra, 11-second eclipse EPA. It says it's breathing in all that oil from the intake valves. Robert Doss, Tony Dominguez, Blue Oval, Twan Legend, Black Fire Performance, Khalid Walid, Oscar Hernandez, Martin Robles. Fuck, these fucking allergies are killing me, dude. I mean, nothing I take works. And I fucking hate doctors. And all they're going to do is pill you up and jab you up. Fuck that. Sleepy Boy, Josh Roy, Jeff Betts, Nitrous Bio Supplies, Jack Stan Jeeper, Jose Flores, Matt Twin 11 GT, Ashley Fox, Rocco Zioli, Eminem, Jeff Betts, Abdullah Alabasi, Mercury Motorsports, Justin Bales, Christian Anderson, JD Swag, Ivan, Abdullah, Matt Oliver, Chris Basin. Let's get all the way to the bottom and get this fucking show going because it's the last one. Might as well just phone it in. Kevin, why didn't you just get someone that PBH recommends to build the GT500 engine? Because PBH doesn't recommend any fucking motor builder. They don't trust motor builders. They got out of the motor building game. Do you understand? There is no legit 5.4, 5.8 motor builder anywhere. I don't recommend anyone, and that's why PBH got out of the game. After going through 7 or 8 motor builders, he's like, I'm fucking done with all these guys. I'm done with all these guys. They're all fucking nobodies. All these motherfuckers are fucking you, bro. They're all fucking you. They don't know shit. They send a fucking head out to a fucking machine shop. Machine shop goes, I don't know, it looks good. Dunks it in a tank 13 times, charges $1,700. Motor building is mostly bullshit on the Ford side. Mostly. There's probably 3 guys I trust. And one of them is Ford. Why don't you send it to someone? I talked to Jake. Jake's like, bro, I don't trust nobody. The guy who built this motor the first time has since been literally responsible for most of the bullshit online where we just don't trust motor builders. Remember when you guys talked about dead blow hammers? Remember the dead blow hammer stuff? See, that's where it originated, and people started just making fun, and we're like, we're just backing off of this whole situation. And that's what I mean about window-licking fucktards, right? That guy is a great example of what I would say is a window-licking fucktard. Do you not think I've gone through this do you think everything I do on video is the only thing I do? You don't think I'm on the phone? You don't think I'm calling people? You don't think I'm talking to senior? You don't think I'm talking to motor people? You don't think I'm talking to legit people that I think in the industry are worth talking about? You think, oh well, hey guys, let me go to the comment section and wait there and figure out what's going on. Oh look, Kevin says, why didn't you go to someone PPH recommends? Oh, whoa, I should have thought of that. Well, you know, Kevin, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. My lord. So, after taking everything apart at the bottom end and really reading through the comments and showing you guys, a lot of you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, when I worked in Texas at a hot rod shop, and I put that shit in quotation marks as a motherfucker. Might as well have been a money laundering operation. The owners, of the vehicles didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, right? So a lot of the times we would build them, 800, 700 horsepower muscle car. They come pick it up. It's a crate engine. It's a T56 or TKO 500 or 600 from I forget the name, American Powertrain Solutions or something like that. Rear end from Mosier. Stick it in a paint booth and see you later. And all of a sudden, this guy who's driving it around is an expert in muscle cars all of a sudden. I'm like, excuse me. You just paid the bill. But you don't know that. You go to a car show, you see this guy standing next to a Challenger, a Charger, a Chevelle, or a Mustang, or Camaro, and you think he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Then he shows up on Monday to your job and asks you the dumbest questions on the planet. So that kind of made me go, wow, a lot of these people just pay the bill and don't know what they're talking about. And I'm blown away by the most is imagine the life of a guy. Okay. I get offered this at least 2 or 3 times a year. Alex, I want you to be my guy. I want you to go to the track with me. Data log it. If any mechanical issues arise, you take care of them. Transmission, gearing, this and that. And again, I'm not dealing with guys that are wanting to go 6s or 7s, really fast stuff. I'm talking about guys that want to go bottom 9s, high 8s, or mid 8s. So what I do is I set up a Patreon just to talk to you about what I think should happen. But people want me to physically go to a track, tune the car at the track, dial it in, go to some local events, blah, 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 blah. But the problem is these guys don't know a goddamn thing. And I feel sorry for the tuner, builder, crew chief that has to deal with a guy that just has money but no know-how. How many times have you seen a guy, let's say, tunes a car and he, let's say, can't make it that weekend and the car struggles? You're telling me you haven't picked up anything from the tuner by like osmosis? Like you haven't seen some of the conditions of the track and learned along the way, okay, the car shouldn't leave on 80 pounds of boost. We should ramp it in because we have data based on these notes. I've seen that a lot of times where maybe the tuner can't show up to the track that day and the car struggles. And then guess who they blame? The guy that's not at the track, the tuner. Wait a minute. You own the car. You've seen me talk about conditions. You've seen the changes I've made. I can't hand the reins off to somebody that has no ability to learn along the way. They just want to be ignorant to everything you do, get in it, cut a light, and then blame somebody else if the issue pops up. So when I see people in the comments talking this nonsense, I'm like, wait a minute, you don't think I have access to all these people in one way or another? And you don't think I've reached the conclusion that I trust maybe 1 or 2 guys, and those guys aren't willing to work on 5.4, 5.8 stuff. Like L&M, Michael Rauscher, legit. If Michael Rauscher's fucking with my shit. You know what I mean? Like if Michael Rauscher was like, I'm gonna build your piece of shit. Okay. You're gonna build it personally? Yeah. Here's my motor. With the utmost confidence that it's gonna get done great, because the guy is a wealth of knowledge. He's been around the game a long time. And L&M, legit. I don't know who's building the motors there now. I'm not saying he's not, but I don't know. So that's why I'd rather go, I'm going to bypass that whole situation. I just received a $10,000 tuition bill, basically learning who another person not to go to. But there are people in the comments that are literally like, you should send it back. Or, oh my God, you should send it to this guy. Have you heard about this guy in Orlando? Have you heard about this guy in Ohio? Have you sent your 4.6 or 5.4 or 5.8 to the person you're telling me to go to? No. So you're a window licking fucktard that has no experience on these builds, and you're just saying stuff that you've heard on the internet or on Muscle Mustangs and Fast Forwards magazine. You know, is Big Daddy still building Fox bodies in New Jersey? I guarantee you guys would say crazy stuff like that. So, unfortunately and fortunately, my channel, and all you guys got to do is go to every engine teardown video and go to the comments. And you will realize that if you are green to this game, you are getting such conflicting information that it's understandable why people either leave the platform or choose the wrong people. Now, again, this channel being a very, very visual and opinionated channel, I totally understand if people don't want to fuck with it. I'll fuck with it. I'll learn. I'll do whatever I need to do. But I hate the fact that I'm at the point that I now have to learn about motor stuff, because tuners generally aren't motor people. Motor people are motor people, tuners are tuners. If you're a motor person, meaning bearing tolerances, piston design, ring gap, based on experience, crank flex, what kind of bearing, what kind of gasket, how thick of a gasket, where to set up the cams, what's the best optimal cam let's say position for the best performance. You're gonna eventually now have to learn motor stuff, and that is a whole nother. You can't just merge one with the other. You have to really know the basically machinist style and lingo and nomenclature as to motor building, where it's like going into transmission stuff, right? You remember Steve Morris was having a whole bunch of issue with transmission stuff not too long ago. So he is a motor guy and a tuner. So he's like, I don't want to know about transmissions. I just want to give you money, and I want a transmission that just works. Well, guess what happens? Now he has to learn about transmissions, because he is, let's just say, eclipsing some of the designed specs of the transmissions that he's using. The car is very heavy. It weighs about 3,000 horsepower or more. So now he has to learn about transmissions, and you could see the pain in his face, because he's like, I don't want to learn transmission stuff. I want to give you money, and I want a transmission that'll hold up to the abuse. So I'm at this crossroads where I'm dealing with people that have never done it before, never dealt with people they're recommending, telling you they're badass because they're fast. And I already made that mistake. Well, he's fast. He should know stuff. So we're going to have to do a couple of things this coming year. Section 8 is going to have to be changed. The name is going to have to change to probably, like someone said, tuition bill or tuition or something. So if you guys can come up with some names for Section 8, we'll change it over to tuition, master's degree, bachelor's degree, something when it has to do with learning and money, because that's all I've done with the $10,000. Now imagine if you were a guy and you had no access to the people that I have access to, and you are listening to people you think know stuff, and you send it to homeboy, never have heard of him, never seen any of his shit go fast, and I got recommended people that I know are whack shit. Like, I have seen the motor work, and it is whack shit. And I've got recommended those people. And I said, I'm good because I don't want to end up in that boat because this customer of mine or that customer of mine or this and this and that had happened. So at the end of the day, 5458 stuff, I probably trust Michael Rosher at L&M only. Nobody else. And I don't think he's working on the car, on the motors anymore. And aside from that, maybe get some bearing clearances from this guy and that guy and this guy. Get the cumulative knowledge Lund Racing has and just do it myself. Because at the end of the day, it's not any worse than what's already out there. And I might not have to pay people to do stuff I can probably do at home. I was surprised when you said he was going to build it. So much negativity surrounding him and his quality. Yeah, well, not on the 5.4, 5.8 side. But that was my fault. For ignoring the obvious stuff that was out there based on the cars I tuned. I tuned cars that he had motors built for and they made good power. So I said, what are you going to do? Let's give it a shot. And, talk the good talk and lesson learned. PhD Trinity U, 401k to play. Oh, bro, that's why I don't speak on stuff I'm not educated on exactly. It's a wonder that motor started it. EPA, you're wrong for that. What the EPA say. Just No. Definitely not going to do that. Definitely want that chapter. I definitely want to turn the page on that. I definitely want my life to not intersect his shit. I'm owed my Pistons back. Yeah, I want my Pistons back. And once I get everything fixed and the car's running good, I'm gonna ask for some money back because this car's a dud. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I'm definitely gonna get my Pistons back. Harvard, arm and a leg, School of Hard Knocks. Come on. Stop it. Is it a red flag if you only see old school muscle cars in the shop? Well, yeah. So this is a great segue as to what I'm talking about. So I was coming from let's just say, Jesus, Fox Body World. And YOLO Douchebag started talking his shit. YOLO Douchebag was out there saying all this crazy stuff and people were actually believing it. And then I got hired to be the, what do you call it? Service advisor or late model hot rod service advisor at a shop. Not having a dime of late model hot rodding experience, except for my own Coyote with a Bama tune. So imagine you go to a hot rod shop that has nothing but Chevelles, Camaros, old stuff, and you want your Coyote to get a tune, a cold air, and long tube headers. Unless they have a Lund Racing banner or any aftermarket, let's say, tuner on the docket, and you have to do your due diligence. You can't just go in there and blindly not know anything and just take it to a hot rod shop and use the following logic. Well, they build hot rods. How hard can it be? Well, here I am, like a dumbass with a Bama-tuned Coyote telling people how to build theirs. Now, in that shop, that's where I got my experience in terms of the late model game, how it works at that level, at the billing level, at the wholesale level, at the managing techs, managing schedules, managing people, managing projects, and I wanted nothing to do with it. He'll never give me back half the money. You crazy? That's what I want, though. It should be called house money. Blue balls. I want my $2. Jared Wells, I think that swing by Tuesday to check it. Okay. With a Bama tune. Exactly. Like 112. Desert 1320, your channel is great. Sir, it is. Any plans to do standalone on a 01? Fuck no. Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever do a standalone on a fucking ZR1 that makes 850? Tops. Standalone. Standalone, he says. I built my own engine, says Luis Araya. Transmission differentials and I tune. 30 years in the sport taught me that you need to be a master technician. You know what? And I hate the fact that I'm there. I never wanted to buy a cherry picker. I never wanted to buy an engine stand. I never wanted to buy anything above a floor jack because I thought to myself, I don't need any of that stuff. I'm not going to do this crazy amount of work. I have people that'll do it for me. And then you saw what happened with the Fairmont when I dropped it off to a guy I trusted locally. Car sat for months. I said, okay, that's gone. So there goes any work that needs to be done to the car that needs a lift. Gone. Motor work. You saw that. As a matter of fact, the best cars that I have are the cars that I bought that were pretty much good to go. The ZR1 and the Notch. Every other car except the white car. The white car taught me a lot about turbo kits, what the people are offering out there, the amount of work that needs to be. So I'm not gonna look at a customer that he's like, hey, I'm gonna install a single turbo kit, the same one that you were installing on the channel. What do you think? I'm like, what kind of tools do you have? You need to relocate a lot of things to get wiring out of the way. You need to do a lot of work. You need to potentially move AC lines. You need to do a lot of shit. Oh, that doesn't say it in the instructions. Yeah, correct. I had those instructions. It was a 1 page of instructions. So that taught me a couple of things. Nothing is a kit. Nothing is really a kit. So, a lot of the stuff requires custom stuff. Case in point, a lot of you guys are questioning in the comments about bottom end noise. Alex, you said you heard bottom end noise. Well, on one of the headers, I noticed that it's rubbing up against the body somewhere. So I could be hearing bottom end noise, or I could be hearing the header primary hitting somewhere on the body, the frame, or the firewall. Who knows? So now the 2-inch primary headers, they just don't go on. You need to do some custom stuff to install 2-inch headers on. When it comes to, let's say, the hardware. And you got to bend this, bang that, clearance the shaft, move the motor up or down, shim things, move it, because it's not just a one size fits all situation. So that taught me a lot. Basically, what I've done is I've learned so much with the late model Mustang game that if you want to really work on your own stuff, not only do you need a shitload of tools, you need almost every single tool a master technician would own to work on these cars and not need any help. Then I thought to myself, I don't need an engine stand because I'm never going to be diagnosing an engine or taking one apart. Now here we are. Now I'm there. I actually bought myself a set of quick jacks. You know how expensive a quick jack is? But I thought to myself, being on the ground, it looks to be a very normal thing in the foreseeable future. So I need a lot more ground clearance. One of the more time-consuming things and sketchy things I do is lift the GT500 up on 4 jack stands. One side, then while you're lifting the other side, you got to make sure that side's not going to slip off. And then you get it up about a foot, then you got to go back again and lift it up another, put blocks of wood under the jack, get it up really high so you have enough room underneath. So I thought to myself, fuck it. Let me just buy myself a set of $1,600 to $1,700 quick jacks that brings the car way the hell up in the air. Why? Because it's out of necessity at this point. I don't trust that the stuff that I have is adequate, but the stuff that I have is really all I should need. But now I'm at the point where I'm putting motors in and out of cars consistently, so it's time to up my tool game. And now I'm running out of room. I'm quickly running out of room on both garages because it's full of big tools that I used once in a blue that I thought I'd never have to own. But here we are. I gotta get so much dumb shit. It's not even funny to do everything on this motor in terms of the cam stuff, the vetting, the torquing, and all that stuff on my own. It's crazy stuff. Quality of work in all aspects in the country has declined tremendously. You know, so I'm a psycho. Do you feel that we have altered a timeline somewhere, like around COVID? Remember how happy a lot of us were 2015, 2016, 2017? Pretty happy. Things were good. Did someone go back to grab an Infinity Stone and alter the timeline where now everything sucks? Like, everything sucks. Everything sucks. Quality sucks. People suck. Ford sucks. And everything is like, up is down, down is up. Everything is fucked up. People's attitudes are fucked up. People's quality's fucked up. Like, the world is upside down. And you're wondering, what happened? What happened in the last 4 years where everything has gone to absolute horse shit? No honorable people. People constantly trying to fuck you. And I'm like, or maybe I have been black pilled. And that's probably more likely than someone went back and get an Infinity Stone. So what's black pill? Black pill is when you basically are a pessimist about everything and you see the world for what it is and you think the worst of it. And I think, when you put out that kind of negative energy, it just kind of multiplies and it comes back. Because honestly, I'm realistic. I've tried to put out good energy in the world, and it just, I tried to see the benefit of I tried to give someone the benefit of the doubt, only to get super hosed on it. And I'm like, wow. So what is happening? Is it my black-pilled nature that's making me see the world for what it is, or something really happened in the last 4 years that has gone to shit? You know what, Ashley Fox? That's a very good point. Nobody wants to work. See, people like the administration will tell you that unemployment is at its lowest ever. That's if you actually want to work and are looking for work. How do you get unemployment figures when you stop looking for work? You don't collect unemployment benefits. You don't even check in for unemployment stuff. You just say, I'm not going to go to work or I'll work under the table. So unemployment is a fake number. It's lower than it's ever been. Right, because there's less people in the workforce than there's ever been. So I think everything quality-wise is just trash. And a lot of people get away with it because maybe there's a fudge factor in there where you're like, well, I'm not going to replace these springs. They look fine, even though you had a valve train issue. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and, reuse this part because it's not a big issue. What's the big deal? He's only making $1,200. Fuck it. Unreal. When they turned on that Hadron Collider, you know what? Correct. That's something that we talk about. Supply chains still suck. They can't blame COVID anymore. We got robbed. Money is so worthless now. Joey B being president, I don't disagree. Get the Kings to persuade someone to let go of their garage spot for you. I live 20 miles from CERN in Oak Ridge. Everything is backwards since 2013. 2024, Black Swan. I agree. Something bad, I feel, might happen. I don't think there'll be an election. How's that? I don't think there'll be a fucking election. No way. I think what'll happen is Poppy Trump is going to get 85 million votes. No one will accept that. And they'll say, this is obviously false. Because there's no way a guy that ran the fucking show wonderfully gets 3/4 of the vote of the general voting public. Unreal. Like the Daniel Tosh joke, 50% of the people don't deserve a job. You know things are bad when the new Tundra is a piece of shit. You're going through every fear that I have about having someone build an engine for me. Yeah, nobody wants to work. You look. The Lunds have gone through engine builds, and I'm not going to name names, but they've gone through engine builds, and you know what? Kudos to them how they handled it. I would have wanted to kill people, but kudos to them how they handled it. I'm a little more vocal, and I am, let's just say, very public. So if something goes wrong, I'll tell you my experience, but I'm not going to go on a bash fest. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. Mercury Motorsports, thanks, brother. Just did some research, and I'd love to know what Lund Racing and Alex recommends. What are you talking about, Mercury Motorsports? Maybe you'd have to repeat the thing. Quick money, that's why quality is down. Sadly, I agree, Alex. We are fucked. The internet, Leo versus the internet says, dang, watching you speak about today's society making me depressed, and I just woke up. Look, one of the things I pride myself on, at least, is that I do my best to steer people the right way and do right by people. And I told you guys that story where is Zip Tie Racing being funny? Zip Tie Racing literally said, this is what I'm talking about. Spend the money, call Steve Morris. This guy's a crazy engine builder. At Zip Tie Racing, literally said, spend the money, call Steve Morris. He's a crazy engine builder. That's what I mean. You guys are absolute window linking fucktards in the comments. So one of the things I pride myself on is if I feel I tried to do something for you and shit went wrong, even if it was my fault. I told you the story about the seats. I refunded the guy all the money because I felt so terrible about him, and then it got paid back in a way where I sold something else years later, and he bought it sight unseen because he trusted me. And once the trust has been pretty much put to bed and gone, I'd be crazy to try to go back and give you another chance at things, because shame, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You can't get fooled again. Do you think 2020 GT500s go down in price over the next year? I know you don't like them, but I've been looking at them. I don't even care, to be honest with you. I don't think they're that special of a car. If the dealerships are now glorified parts exchangers, if you don't notice where we're heading, you can't change directions where we should be. Papa, what's your go-to for Coyote Boost controller setup? AMS 2000. AMS 2000. Oh, but it's $1,500. AMS 2000. What shop do you recommend in Central Ohio for a dyno so I can get my two final T56? None. Oh, actually, Speedline. Fuck. I forget the name. He used to work with Homeboy, Queef. But he's on his own, and he's been pretty good about everything. Google and internet have replaced people reading books and manuals. Just pay someone dominatrix to kick in the balls. About the same experience as paying an engine builder. You know what? I get it. And, I totally understand a guy buying a car like Jay and Cuban Coyote and a bunch of other guys that just buy a car that has a good bottom end from the factory, 3 or 4 bolt-ons and good fuel away from 9s and maybe high 8s. Like a C701's $150,000 or whatever the fuck it is. But like, if you want to get into the 9s, stock Coyote, Gen 2, fuck the 10R. I am so sick and tired of hearing people complain about the 10R when I've told everybody the 10R is the biggest piece of shit in terms of consistency. Can you go fast? Of course. But it is not consistent enough for me to want to fuck with it. So that's why I got rid of the truck. Major Toss says, off topic, that Justin Dugan interview was solid. Nice to see he's not a clueless moron that actually knows his stuff. I appreciate that. So, me and him have been paying phone tag for a while now. And I said, hey, man, I got to lock you in because if we don't do it before the end of the year, we're never going to get this interview in. Things are going to get busy. He's got a life. He's got a family. He's got a wife. I am not looking to upset his life. And the only time I could do it was when I was on vacation and he was working. And it's basically for Turn 5. Basically, he says, I'm going to do this on the behalf of Turn 5, basically, because I am representing Turn 5, so which is the parent company of American Muscle and a couple other places. And he goes, I can get away with doing it for a couple of hours during work hours. And I'm like, cool, because during the weekend and the week and after work, he just wants to spend time with his daughter and his wife. He's happy. Merry Christmas. Merry New Year, Alex, and good work on the GT500 motor. I didn't do anything. I just took it apart and tried to diagnose what the issue was, and it looks to be mostly valve train related. Everyone's just afraid they'll get canceled or fired because of how they truly feel. Trans not tunable GT500 gets gapped by a $68,000 Whippled Coyote. I agree. Hey, Alex, changing my OPGs to 15 Mustang. Would you recommend a certain timing chain set, head gasket, or OEM 800, 1100, 800 to 1000? Thinking about changing them while I'm in there. I mean, doesn't Ford Performance have an upgraded set? GT500 oil pump gears, GT500 pump, GT500 pickup tube, Ford Performance crank sprocket. I don't think you should go too crazy. This is why I went Trackhawk on him. Someone else built my Gen 3, and you already know the rest. Michael Camacho. I know. And Jay Walker verifies what I'm saying. He goes, yeah, this is a lot of the reason why I moved to the exotics and high-end cars that are fast from the factory. Just require tuning and bolt-ons to run a good number, less headaches. So, people are going to go, Alex, this is how people this is the fuzzy math people do. If I go 8 stick, if I somehow make that happen after this debacle, so people from that's going to go, oh my God, Alex went 8 stick. I could probably do that. It's probably a $50,000 car, a blower, E85, good transmission, and I'm good. No. This car has cost me $60,000 to buy, $40,000 plus to fix. So that is $100,000 after taxes, after this, the money that I have left over after paying the man 15 times, paying IRS $20K because of the YouTube stuff every year. And I somehow, after many years of owning this car, have whittled it down to being $100,000 that I put into this car, and it's currently motorless. Okay? So, let's say in 4 years, I spent $100,000 of my money. That's exotic car money if you want to talk about monthly payment. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a Shelby GT500 that went 8, so that cost this. No, I have over 100 into this car, and I still don't have a working car. Reginald Johnson says, on the Trinity 5.8 engine and the Coyote Gen 3, both use the same plasma arc welding to make the cylinder walls. Is it possible to get the bore cylinder for large press? Yes. Already. No, it's impossible. Yes, you can sleeve anything. My motor is sleeved. If you were to build a motor again in the Shelby or even a Coyote in the future now, how would you go about it? Jared Wells, good question. Keep it under 1100. Stock sleeves. Coyote. Rods and pistons. Stock heads, stock cams, rods and pistons. Basically, an illuminator. And be done with it. Now, if you want to go stage 4 crazy, yeah, you got to go aluminum rods, certain pins, certain chain timing set, certain oil pump. You have to really do your vetting, and you have to have a very unique piston design for that RPM, the skirts, all that bullshit. So it depends on what you're doing. But Alejandro Flores wants to go 790s tops in the Fairmont. And that's going to be done on a stock bottom end Gen 3 and a Gen 2 head and a locked cam setup. And it's probably going to be blow through. Do you know why I want to do blow through carburetor Coyote at this point? Because I'm sick and tired of sensors fucking with my life. I'm sick and tired of a stupid, dumb thing causing the car not to perform well, where you have to now just whittle it down like the Fairmont. So remember the Fairmont, after a while, it just wouldn't launch good and it would just stutter all the way down the track. It was whittled down to be a connector on the PCM that was intermittent touching. How the hell would I have diagnosed that? No codes were active. It was just shutting the pump on and off. Only when the new owner of the Fairmont motor got the harness and was putting things together after it was all taken apart by somebody else, he noticed that on the PCM itself, there was a bit of a funky situation with one of the pins and one of the connectors on the PCM. He ended up getting new parts, and it fixed, so far, the issue. Okay, $100,000 hits differently. Most of us are still peasant level. It's $100,000, $30,000 shy of a $30,000 or $50,000 shy of a Viper. I could have had a Viper sitting in the garage that just works. This thing is now on jack stands, no motor in it, and I'm 100 in. Did you check the bore straightness? No, because that, again, the bore straightness there was no bottom end issue. I repeat, because everyone wants me to put a billet motor in this thing for some reason. There was no bottom end issue. It was a lack of boost. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole, you might as well just replace every single fucking part on this car. But you can't. You have to do the proper vetting. So you take the cam caps off. You look for the cross hatching. I am not going to get a bore gauge and start checking the bore, taking the pistons out, checking the ring gap. You got to be smart about this. You got to go, okay, it was not seeing boost. Bottom end was okay. I wasn't losing oil. I wasn't burning oil. There are no score marks on the bore. Why the fuck would I take all that apart? This is why the YouTube comments, all those videos are absolute hella AIDS. I watch these videos on blow-throughs. I sold and want to try it. Carb just work. Nothing wrong with that. Exactly. Carburetors just work. I drove my Notch car wash yesterday, power wash underneath, put some hose clamps on the lines that I told you guys I'd have to put hose clamps on. That thing just works, bro. It drives. It just does what it's supposed to do. And I'm like, why the hell do I keep messing with stuff that sensors and dumb shit that I really don't need time to fuck with? No offense. I'm not looking to be the fastest dude. So if you want to be the fastest dude, yes, you need crankcase pressure, you need EGT, you need knock sensor, you need everything. But if you're just trying to go sevens in a Fox, 30 pounds of boost, Vaya con Dios. Hope the car survives. Look at the plugs, and if everything's good, that's it. That's all you should be doing. It's got plenty of fuel? Yep. Got a good boost reference on the carb? Yep. Got 30 pounds of boost? Yep. Got a good transmission? Yep. It's a fucking turbo 400. Let's check some plugs after a couple of pulls, manipulate timing with an MSD grid, and call it a fucking day. You cannot put AC in the car for the amount of money than time you have this botched engine. Yeah, okay. Why not get TKM involved? Tony Spadafino. How many motors have you gotten built by them? Let's do some. How many motors have you got built by them? Have you ever seen a TKM 5458? The only other person I would trust, there's like 2 or 3, and they'll remain nameless, is Michael Rauscher at L&M. Michael Rauscher at L&M. Nobody else. Was Turby too busy to work on Trinity? There's no illuminator for GT500? Holy shit, people don't know what they're saying exactly. You should do a leak down test to see. So that way you don't have... Smash or devour. This is why... Unreal. There was no issue with leak down. There was a valve train issue. Why should I then now rebuild the whole fucking thing? So you're telling me to spend $5,000 more? That's what you're saying, right? You're saying take all the pistons out of the fucking thing, check everything, possibly re-sleeve it, by the way. People don't understand what it takes. So you're basically saying I should redo the whole bottom end. That's what you're saying. That's $5,000 more on an already forged bottom end and sleeved. You guys are psycho. Tony, where are you at? Tony, where are you, Tony Spadafino? You said why not get them involved? So how many motors have you sent them? How many 5458s have you seen them build? Go. My goodness. Leak down test checks for valve sealing, not bottom end, unless the rings are totally gone. And we know that's not the case. Exactly. But again, if you are a layman and you listen to these people, you would be like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, you would be like, oh, I got to do that? Do I have to do a leak down test? Bro, the Shade Tree mechanics are out today, and they're here. I'm glad that they're here. I'm just saying, what do you think I've been doing off camera? Do you think I'm waiting for your comments on the YouTube chat to do stuff? Try to connect the dots here. The cylinder where the oil-covered intake valve is on the same cylinder that had the oil in the spark plug well. It had like 4 cylinders in there. GoFundMe rebuild this GT500. I'm sure he would have bought an illuminator if it was an option. If there was an illuminator for a GT500, I would have bought it yesterday for $25,000. Who just says 2012 GT500 TKM 54 and PBH tuned by you all, I believe. As far as I know, I don't know about any TKM 5458s at 1200 plus horsepower. I don't know any of them. Yeah, it's easy to tell people to waste money that isn't theirs to begin with. I love it. Hey, Alex, just spend another 3 to 5 and redo the bottom end. What's the big deal? Yes, I have TGEY. I have Tegay, have done many 4654. I've seen them do some. I mentioned it just to see the issue. No. They're fine. I had no issue with them. No. Because I could do what they could do. I have people that could do what they could do. So why would I send it out to have someone do what I can do? Unreal. Alex, you should definitely MagnaFlow the entire block. Guys don't like the video. Guys that don't like the video window lickers. I'm just throwing out ideas that don't cost you much money. Smash or devour. Tell me how a leak down test is going to work on a short block. Smash or devour. Tell me how a leak down test is going to work on a short block when the heads are known to have an issue. Pressurize the cylinders, intake and exhaust were both leaking at top dead center. We removed the rocker. Tell me how a leak down test is going to work on a short block after the heads are off of it. Tony can't even put together a proper sentence right now. He's shook. I haven't had any done by them. Oh, gotcha. Window licking fucktard mentality. I haven't had any done by them, but seem to know what they're doing. Well, so did the guy I sent it to. You see where that got me? That is exactly what I'm talking about in this chat, where people have no personal experience with anything and then tell you to take it to them. No, I'm good. Hey, let's smoke check that short block. Short block failed leak down test. What? Tony the dog has more valuable input at this point. You can probably borrow the gauge. You'll be doing it after you get the heads back. If you listen, everyone on the chat, if you ever post an engine issue on the chat on YouTube, do yourselves a favor, ignore everyone in the comments section, talk to people that have experience with whatever motor you're building, and just take it for what it's worth, because nobody in the comments section knows what the fuck they're talking about. Monty 540, I'm not going to use a factory gasket. No, it's going to be a Cometic or something like that. TKM is the Kevin Mullins, I think, the Kevin Mullins. And he does LS Coyote stuff, mostly dry deck stuff, some Predator stuff he's getting into now. So good for them. He did Brian Luna's motor, Car 16s. Then we talked about some injector phasing shit, and I was just like, okay. I've heard good things about MMR, Alex. You should give them a shot. Okay, just mention it. Not making a big deal out of it. Don't flame me for making a dumb suggestion based on absolute no experience. Like, you don't think I know these people? You don't think I know these people? You don't think I know these companies? You don't think I've dealt with these companies? You don't think I know the history of the companies? You don't think I have any access to these companies? Come on. I am telling you, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody except maybe two guys, which I will remain nameless, and Michael Rauscher, L&M. Nobody else. Touch base on people not wanting to work. I'm nobody special, and I cleared 150K this year because because they have to send me from Houston to work in Seattle because they can't find anybody able to work. That's the problem in Florida. Florida is full of absolute lazy motherfuckers. Nobody wants to work here. Everyone wants to fish, hang out, drink, and just do nothing. Nobody wants to actually sit their ass down, head down, and just slam fucking hours at a job somewhere. They just don't do it. I honestly don't know why you don't go MHS local. Good dude treated me good. So he treated you good on your Coyote. And he does 5.4, 5.8 stuff. But I have no personal experience with the gentleman. He might be the nicest guy on the planet. I have zero personal experience with the guy. I have two other guys on the horn doing some work that I fully trust. PayPal you for having to deal with peasants today. Happy New Year. Thank you, Hatch450X. Appreciate that. Don't forget the copper sealant on the spray-on rod bearings. Folks really rent AutoZone leak down for the folks really saying rent an AutoZone leak down tool on a short block. Brett's a Coyote, but he uses FFRE. So does Lund. I troubleshoot my car problems in Spanish. So a Hispanic mechanic somewhere has done a video on it. Fast forward, Tony, most all small block Ford, derp, and derp. Exactly. Most all small block Ford. So you don't own a Coyote, 5.4, 5.8, no overhead cam stuff, and you're asking me to go somewhere because you heard the name, let me guess, Cletus's channel? You heard Brian Luna's motors, TKM motor? You heard that TKM has a Coyote and a Fairlane looking thing and it runs a great number? Cool. That's race car shit. My shit's wet deck. My shit's a 5.4, 5.8. Nothing special. Again, nothing special. All this car really needed, honestly, to run a decent number, stock heads, L&M NSR cams, and better rods. Like, you want to build a badass 5.8, this is what you do. Rods, pistons, L&M NSR cams, and a 10 millimeter chain upgrade. You're done. Done. If you want to sleeve it, sure, you could sleeve it. So let's say if you want to make 1,500 horse plus and throw turbos at this thing, you can go sleeve it, rods, pistons, stock crank, L&M NSRs, vaya con Dios. And Joe Jackson, I think this is why I'm not super mad at the whole situation. I'm mad. Don't get me wrong. I'm pissed off. $10,000 is a lot of money. So at least it's got 12-to-1 pistons in it now. Same rod, same crank. And the $10,000, I don't know what the fuck I did with. And it's got a 10 millimeter chain upgrade. Cool. I have learned so much. And by the time I put everything together, I'll know everything that this car has in it. When I got the motor done, I threw it in, trusting that everything will be good. And then I'm out of the loop if anything goes wrong. Now I know everything. I know what to look for. I know how to diagnose certain things. I've taken it apart, so I'm not afraid of taking it apart again. I've taken the bottom end, just the caps, just to check the bearings. Everything looks pretty good. So now I at least I'm now familiar with the car. So because I'm learning, I'm not super mad at it. That's why I'm saying treat it like tuition. Don't treat it personally. It's a $10,000 learning lesson. And I've learned so much. I learned who to never, ever use for motors ever again in the history of not only every customer I know, but every build I'm going to have from here on out. Do you think this is going to be my last build? I'm going to have probably 10 more after all this. And every customer that asks me, hey, what should I do? I'm going to say, bro, this is where I should go. And I'm going to omit, not flame, I'm going to omit the people I used because obviously I didn't get good results. Roush's engine build in Livonia, they know the Trinity inside out since all the development and testing there. Wiener Schnitzel. So you want me to send my motor to Roush? Is that what you're saying? Hey, Wiener Schnitzel, do you want me to call Jack Roush personally and go, hello, Roush? So I have this Trinity motor and I want to make 1,500 horse with it. Can you guys, I don't know, do a valve job, 5-angle valve job, new Ferreira valves and upgraded valve springs and put the cams in a favorable position for about 30 pounds of boost? Oh, shit my pants. Thanks. What people are missing is that you've lost her. So what people are missing is the time you've lost, and it hurts more than the 10K. Exactly. The 10K is well above. Like it's like below. Let me see. It's probably in terms of percentage. Like the $10,000 is 50% of the pain. The other 50% is the lost time that I have not racing this car. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I could go for tall glass of Mexican dick right now.
Mr. Shelby, Mr. Shelby, what are you doing here, Mr. Shelby? I can't believe that you're here hanging out with us.
The only Shelby truck I had anything to do with was the Dodge Shelby Durango in Dakota. Those are more Shelby than any F-150 pieces.
I agree.
Look, the Dodge years were rough. It's either build Dodge GLH on me's or sell my booty hole for $20 a pop.
20?
You know what else I was blowing off in the weeds? Your dad.
Unreal. I mean, so, you know, you got to look at it that way. Is the time loss is what hurts the most. Time is money. The peasant chatting. I'm no 5458 or gynecologist specialist, but I'm willing to take a look. Oh my God. Call up Carol Shelby. Right. The Carol Shelby skeleton could probably do a better job on this motor than anyone else. Jack Rouse will say, good for you. You can get Shelby to sign it. Send it to Ford. They designed the engine. What the fuck is that noise? Happy New Year's. Thank you for keeping the channel real and truthful. Thank you, Bossman Wilson. What percent of builds, either motor or boost, whatever, don't have issues? Curious. For real, for real. I know somebody that has been through about 6 motors with one engine builder, and he paid him a visit. Like, he paid him a visit. Crazy to me, he didn't take the opportunity to prove how good of a builder he is. Right. If you pay that much for an already built motor that had a chain issue, you would think it's easy, but somehow there's an issue. I know it's not much, but here's some money to offset the $10,000. Thank you. Look, I appreciate any super chat you guys give me. Just send your motor back to Shelby of America. Time to sell everything and just keep your 2-valve 1-cam LS. You can always make more money, but you'll never get time back. Community College is the new car name. Community College? No, it needs to be funnier than that. Even though it's okay. I need a better name than Section 8 because it's not just a money pit. Deal, just go back to Homeboy and any builder to get screwed over not once but twice. People here asinine with their recommendations, right? Take it back. He's going to stand behind his product. I learned my lesson. You get one shot with me. You don't get multiple. I got Jack's number if you need it. My uncle works on his planes. Fletcher Shroud, thank you for the money. He says $10 child support. Basically, it's child support. It's channel support. So, in the next year, now we'll talk about coming up in the last half hour, what the goals are for next year. So, what are your goals for next year? A lot of you obviously support the channel. You see what's going on with the channel. You've probably tried to have builds surrounded by some of the advice this channel gives you. What are your builds coming up next year? What are your plans? Well, for me, it's going to be the following. Eric Roundtree says, here's some money to send your engine to some pro-Indian engine builders overseas. Right. If those guys can make a crankshaft out of a boat propeller, I can't imagine the Trinity motor is that hard. So, I have the Fairmont going to Pennsylvania to get chassis work done. The reason I'm doing that on that car is because it's going to be a race car only, and I'm not. I repeat, I am not looking to go sixes. I am not looking to take the world by storm. I am not looking to do anything like that. Hush money is important to me. The car means a lot to me. It's a personal goal that I have with the car, and I want to go 7s with the stock bottom end Gen 3, Gen 2 heads, and Gen 3 cams. It's going to be basically the stock long block, except it's going to be studded. Actually, you know what? It's not studded. It's locked cam. It's more than likely going to be carbureted because I think I can do it. And that's it. And honestly, like nothing above and beyond a 7-second goal. Now, will I be able to achieve that by next year? I don't think so. Because by the time I want to say the chassis work is going to be at least 3 to 4 months. I'll probably get it back March, April, or earlier. I already have the motor. I have to save up for the transmission. And I got to do seats, turbo kit, carburetor, make the intake work. And I'm going to keep the wheels kind of the same. Maybe get a fatter wheel because it's going to be mini tubbed and a different front end wheel. But honestly, I want it to weigh about 3,300, 3,200 with me in it. And if I can get it lighter, great. And run 7s with a turbo 400, blow through, MSD grid, and turbo, and just leave it the fuck alone because that's the goal for next year. I think I can do it. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it by next year. And if I do it by next year, it'll be very late next year, maybe early 2025. That's the main focal point. Corvette's going to get a transmission. It'll probably go 9s once we get E85 in it. I smell a little bit of oil, so it might need some freshening up in the valve area or something. Who knows? But no blue smoke, but I smell it. So maybe E85, run 9s in it. That's not a huge goal. The Fox body's going to run 9 stick. I just know it with a 150 shot. That's not a huge goal. The biggest goal I have next year, is run 8s in the GT500 and run 7s in the Fairmont. Then I'll have owned a 7, 8, 9, and 10-second car all in one shot. That's the goal. Fox is a 10-second and 8 car. Corvette should be a 9-second stick car. Section 8 should be an 8-second stick car. And Hush Money should be a 7-second blow-through carbureted car. A crankshaft from a boat prop. Finish my GTR build. Hopefully, at this point, you can name it C-section. Section oil, skid mark, Nardi wins. C-section? Yeah, but what does that mean, though? Buying a ML built motor, wish me luck. Hush Money, run a number consistently, then go home, and then repeat. Exactly. I'm going third flat track racing on 88 TRX 250 this summer. Cars are expensive to race. I met a guy yesterday at the car wash. He's like, hey, I see you got a muscle car. I go, it's not really a muscle car, whatever. I was like, tell me about, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I just moved down from New York State. I said, cool. And he had a snowmobile or a snow machine, depending on where you're from, what you call it, in the back of his Nissan. I go, why do you have a snowmobile here? He goes, I do asphalt racing. He asphalt races a snowmobile. And I'm like, well, you probably came to the wrong spot. He's like, no, there's spots here and stuff, but I'm trying to get into the racing crowd, and there's not much going on out here. There's a lot of exotic and a lot of imports, but there's not a lot of muscle cars here. And I told him to go to the Cars and Coffee on the 27th, and I'm sure he'll meet some muscle car guys there. But honestly, I don't have much faith that he'll find like legit muscle car people there. Michael Mayer says, Alex, the main issue in this world is that we expect the people to think, work with common sense like us. In reality, it'll never happen, and that sucks. Name it, international student. Oh, come on, you gotta be better. Your motor should have been the main build. That was perfect for the platform and long-reaching audience you have. So, Scott, I wasn't looking for that specifically. What I wanted was what I thought at the time, competent engine builder to diagnose what happened, chain broke. Okay, now valves, gave me the option of going higher compression piston. Okay, I took his recommendation. Cool. Paid 10 grand. Cool. Car comes back, doesn't do shit. I wasn't asking him to say, hey, this channel's really going to pop off with this motor, and I really would appreciate if you can give me some kind of special deal. Really I just wanted the motor to be built. But now this channel is serving as the opposite. It's serving as an eye-opening experience. And you take it for what it's worth. Sorry about the amount of nose bullshit I'm going through. The sad part is building a motor isn't hard, says Matt20GT. The hard part is having the self-discipline to triple check everything, take your time to check specs again, basically give a fuck. Now, Bondo Bird did have a good comment. He goes, so since the cam caps were swapped, 10 and 9, does that mean you have to rebore and redo the cam side of things? And that's the other issue. Whoever gets the cylinder heads is probably going to want the cams to check that also. And if I then have to then redo the cam journals, oh boy, you want to talk about a bill. I got a stupid deal on a Gen 3R for my GT500. 750 wheel horsepower with a Lund tune, PMAS ID 1050s, long tubes, and a Ford Racing Twin 65 possible. Not on pump gas, but on E85, yes. I wouldn't trust pump gas at that boost level, which is like probably a 2.6 or 2.8 upper. A 2.8 upper on a Gen 3R with that what you just said. Need D85, ID 1050Xs, and twin boosted pumps on a 14 GT500, and it should do okay. 2024 goals, fuel system and a Lund tune, buy forged parts because my shit's going to pop any day now. Just called the GT500 mucho dinero. Sorry, late to the chat, says Manic50. We had some dirty windows that needed cleaning. Alex on booger sugar. Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, the allergies are ridiculous. I'm probably going to pass out after this. Like, I wanted to go to the gym and enjoy my Sunday. I'm probably going to just go to sleep because the Benadryl is starting to kick in. Did this guy not think about the rebuttal when you found out it was trash? I think he thought I was going to send it back to him. Right? Let's talk about that. I think he thought, oh, if there's any issue, just bring it back to me. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Just bring it back. Pull the motor out, which is a massive undertaking for me with my current tools and space. So I did that. And I said, before I even decide on who to take it on, let me have Jake come over and help me out with this. Jake does not want to be on video because he feels that, he's going to catch shrapnel. I said, no, you're not, but whatever. So once we saw the misnumbered cam caps, the open valves, once we took the rockers off, we're like, this is wild. We saw no debris in the cylinder head that could cause the issue. I'm like, is it my fault? So, and then we saw the cam journals and stuff like that, and the keyway, and I'm like, I don't think I'd ever take it back with Homeboy. I don't think I'd ever take it back to Homeboy because if I paid you $10,000 and that's what I received for work, imagine what it's going to look like for $0.0. No, thank you. Is Grey Goose on a standalone? No. Stock Gen 2 computer. Kyle, are you at Hong Kong continuing education? Call it the diversity student or higher. I think it's hard to build a motor. It takes a long time to check everything, and then at that point trying to figure out how to fix the actual issue with the right machine. Motor assembly is not hard if you know the basics. The hardest part is going to be dialing in the cams because it just takes a long time. But you need to know the specs. If you're going to do a custom piston or something, you have to know based on experience what piston works with what. So I saw that Senior had an 11-to-1 compression bottom end. I thought, why not a 12-to-1? No higher than 30 psi. I have seen some of the motors that he's built in my ticket system, and they made 1100-ish. You know, even though Seniors made 1250 somehow, which blows my mind. 2024 goal is to run 9 2021 GT500 with a stock blower pulley. Nice. Engine assembly, on the other hand, shouldn't be too hard in theory. It's possible he has a shop help turning wrenches. Still don't excuse the product delivered. EPA says, I think he thought it was going to drive normal for a little bit, and then when things went wrong, just blame you or chalk it up to crazy, but stuff happens. Yeah, you know what I've heard from certain motor builders? That's racing. Well, that's racing. So my metric is the previous motor. 4 years, never came out of the car, making over 1,200 horsepower, and the car just went A to B all the time. By the time I bought it, it must have been driven within an inch of its life. It must have had a couple of burnouts done to it. Maybe the previous owner was very, let's say, green to this car shit. And when I got it, it was down on power, making, maybe 1,100 or so. Maybe valve springs were compromised. Maybe hit the limiter too many times. Maybe he hit the chip too many times. I don't know. But that was my metric. This motor from this motor builder lasted this long with stock front chains, 10-to-1 pistons, and basic bitch cams. And then I get it back, and it lasts 300 miles. If I were him, I would have sent a carrier to pick up the car. Hatch 450X. Now you're talking my language. If I were him, I would have sent the car to carrier pickup to pick up the car. Fix every issue you pointed out. Put some nice stuff on it you didn't pay for. Put everything back together. Document video, then return. That wasn't even a thing. It was like, well, I'll be down there in a month, so maybe I can try swapping the springs out. Why are we swapping the springs out? You checked them. They were fine, right? People assume I have this shop that I can just take the motor out and just put it on the ground like within like 3 or 4 hours. No, dude, I have a full life. To pull the motor out, I'm doing it at like midnight. I'm doing it at 9, 10, 11 at night. Going out there and then getting up super early before the gym, working on the car. Then after work, between work and the show times, I am working on the car. It's a huge thing. BJ Crefossi says, engine assembly isn't hard. It's the tedious machine work that's the issue. I've been through 5 or more machine shops that are retards. You better be the machine shop if you value time, quality, and work. Hey, man. You know how Holley sucks? Ace's performance for LS standalone seemed like a much better source. Ever heard of them? Gonna use Holley because I already have it. Wish me luck. I don't even know where he's going with that. That's racing is a slap in the face after giving someone so much money. That's racing. That's racing. What's crazy is getting a customer like you is awesome for exposure. I would go above and beyond, especially considering the amount of eyes that'll see the good or bad on the build. Now, I got recommended people like Jordan at Modular Head Shop. I got recommended people down here in South Florida. I got recommended FFRE. I got recommended many things. I'm not saying any of those people are bad. I'm just saying I have in my ticket system, in my life, in anything, those people do not have experience with 5.4, 5.8 stuff. Now, FFRE is probably Billy Badass, but they're probably like, we don't want to touch F54, 5.8. One, there's not that much volume. And it's not that good of a motor. No offense. The 4-valve architecture isn't great when being compared to Coyote. So if FFRE was like, bro, I love you, I'm just going to concentrate on the Billy Badassery that is Coyote. It's still being manufactured to this day. Ford is still pumping out parts. Ford is still refining the Coyote via the 24 Gen 4 version. So why would I go out of my way and start a 5458 program when it's a dinosaur. Imagine someone like an FFRE does Viper, V10, big block, small block, you name it. Now he has to eventually like train or get machinery or get well disciplined to start a 5458 program when that motor is not really being used by the majority of people. So I don't blame someone like FFRE for going, I don't want to offer a 5458 program. Modular Head Shop, don't know the guy. Seems like a good guy. I've seen some of the videos. I just don't have any personal experience on his builds in the ticket system or in real life. When I had a cam cap break, I had to have my cylinder heads redone for MMR billet cam caps and had to replace my cam. The cam that was bent replaced all the cams. You have trust issues because you've been disrespected over and over. Absolutely. It's not racing when you put 300 miles on a build. Exactly. It never got raced. Okay. So a lot of people need to understand this. If you go out there and lay on the limiter or you have an overboost issue, let's say you got a turbo car and a brand new fresh build. You go on the dyno. Line got pinched somewhere, and it's all 55 pounds of boost. I'm not going to blame the builder if it blows up. I go, yeah, we had a boost control issue, so, I'm going to send the motor back to you and assess the damage and fix it up, and we're good. Imagine the same person breaks the car in, driving it normally. The first time he goes watt on a controlled boost setup, it doesn't make any power. They're going to go, what's going on? So that's not racing at that point. That's like the motor basically failed on break-in. Let's just say that. Weird how you can rag on a stock bottom end forever, but then you pay 10 grand for a built bottom end. No. Smash your Devour, you are way off base here. That motor was already built. The motor I sent to the motor builder had a stock crank, forged rods, badass pistons, sleeved bottom end. Already done. It went to him because it had a valve train issue. Broken secondary chain. I was upgraded to better pistons. Same rod, same crank, same block. Valve job. 10 millimeter chains. 10 grand. So, of course, you'd be reluctant to take it back to him. This is the reason my 19 Camaro SS, I got rid of my SS Camaro. There's like two, in my opinion, trustworthy LT1 builder tuners on the East Coast, and rather have a stock motor and boost than if the motor builds up a swap and illuminator. Do you think it's worth fixing up a YouTube channel? Firing up a YouTube channel? Document the Holly stuff? No, I don't. You'd be the 8,000th guy that does that. But you could do it if you have a genuine twist on things, but I don't know what you're looking to get. Do you have a lot of experience? Do you have a cool project? Is it weird? Or is it just you in your house and hoping people take an interest in you in your house and your Holly stuff? It's not like Alex was out there doing dumb burnouts like Cletus exactly. Could you imagine what option 1 on the build would have cost consisted of? JB Weld chained back together. All of the options were $7,000 to $8,000 options. And I chose the bigger one because I'm like, let's make sure the chain, because the chain broke. So I said, let's upgrade the chain, at least. Upgraded the chain. And I think that and the pistons. And that's the only two parts that didn't fail. The parts that were already good. The bad parts, the valves and springs, are still bad. A Wheeler, the Jocko Bell says, I'm taking my T5 out of my Fox. What auto would you say is best for my small block Ford? I drive the car all over the place in AOD. 4R70W, AODE, something like that. It's fourth. You duck. The 297 Trans 260. Okay, what's happening? Smash Devour saying it's in general. I can't believe that is what you got for 10 grand. I can't believe it either. Who's doing the Fairmont, and when do you hope to have it driving? Clutch dumping, I'm not going to say who's doing the chassis work unless he's okay doing it. I'm paying good money. I'm paying 20 grand. 20 grand on top of the 10 that I did with GT500 to have the Fairmont get a legal cage, front tubular, rear a mini tub. Vaya con Dios. Hopefully everything works out. How the hell was that 10K? 10K for that? Damn. Okay. So let's say let's how much are pistons? $1,800? Oh, you know what I could do? I could pull up the invoice. I'm not going to show you guys, but I'll actually read off the invoice. Here it is. Oh, it's the other. I have like 5 Gmails. Oh, I gotta pee. Fuck. Here we go. Okay. Let's go through the invoices. Okay, so I received 4 different invoices. The first one was for $8,700, and it was going to be Hone cylinders to proper piston and valve for coated pistons, meaning the stock pistons. The pistons that were in it were going to be recoated, hone the block, and put them in there. Hone cylinders, polished crank, check mains, clean block, clean parts, reconditioned heads, check spring rate, tip heights, valve job, seals, and polished cams. Tear down labor, $28.60. So I want to piston coating, new rings, new gasket, new guide set, new primary chains 8mm, upgraded secondary chains, 3340, So the total bill of that would have been basically same pistons. Okay, so the pistons were $1,400. So the same pistons, valve job, honing, and all this bullshit would have been $8,700. So the biggest invoice, which is what I opted for, was the $10,000 invoice. Let me see this one. Here we go, this one, because I'm stupid. Was the same exact shit, but the piston and chains went up like substantially, like $1,800. So basically, pistons and chains brought it from 8,000 at an already fucking built motor to 10,000. And based on what I saw, I think the biggest build should have been 7,000. Yeah, he gave some options, correct. And I took the top. So options were given, 4 different things. And I said, give me all of it. Give me the $10,000 option. And y'all saw what I got for the best option. I do the 9-inch 8.8. There's no need to do a 9-inch on the Fox body that runs 7s. Do you still see yourself getting into 350 game with a couple of years? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Because I don't think I'm going to keep the Fox body long term. I love that car, but it's cool. But it seems like another big project. Meaning like I got to go through a lot of stuff to make that thing work. I want to just run 9s as cheap as possible with that car. How does that guy sleep at night? Charging 11,000 for chains and pistons. What's the labor rate? 1,000 an hour? No idea. It wasn't broken down line item. Hoosier says, in my opinion, you're being taken for a ride if that's what you're paying for with Fairmont work. I hope it all works for you. Really? Hoosier? Really? Hoosier? How much is a mini tub in your opinion? Because here we go. How many cars have you mini tubbed? How many Fox bodies have you mini tubbed? And tell me how much a mini tub is. Then tell me how much a chromoly 850 certified cage is. And then tell me the front tubular on a Fox body, how much it is to be done. Tell me, please tell me. A mini tub alone is like at least $4,500. Do you think he's just buying the tubs, cutting it out, and doing? No, he's doing through the floor subframes. He's tying in the torque boxes to everything in the back. He's relocating the shocks inboard. What the fuck? You think $20,000 for chassis work is expensive? That's actually on the cheap side. A full cage, front tubular frames in front of the towers, and all of its mounting points and all of the labor and all. You think I'm being taken for a ride at $20,000? Go ahead and mini tub a Fox body, move the shocks inboard, tie the torque boxes in so that everything is good, through the floor subframe connectors, 850 cage, which is 10 point, and front tubular. Tell me, go ahead, tell me. Tell me how much you think that should be it. Oh, that should cost. $10,000? $5,000? Bro, it's exactly what it costs. Go ahead and look on let me see, like X275 cars on Facebook. There's an X275 parts and sell thing. X275. And they sell rolling chassis. And, you know, some guys are selling 89 mini tub, very nice, all the paint, perfect quarter glass, 850 colors, MSD grade. Oh shit, I should just buy this car. High 4-second car. If Sears called me over detail, is there a motor in it? So he wants 38.5 for a NOS launcher. Series car color, no tire kicker. So let's look at this car. Shit. Oh no, no. I don't want nothing to do with this thing. I already have this. Oh no, I don't like it at all. Yeah, see, I don't like this car. So basically, I think he wants the roller to be 21.5, but it is a notchback that I don't want. I already have that. So he has a roller, and it looks like to be 850 cage, mini tub, He said 38.5 turnkey, which is $40,000, or 21.5. And people say, why don't you just buy a notch for 21.5 roller? And it's because I want the Fairmont. I want the Fairmont to be done. So this is $20,000, basically a rolling chassis. I have this. I already have a white notch, but or complete high 4-second car rolling chassis for without all the shit I'm gonna do for $38.5. So my Fairmont is gonna have a cage. So $20,000. I already got the motor. Transmission's gonna cost me maybe $10,000. So I'm gonna be that and turbo kit shit. I'm going to be into it for less than 40. And I'll probably have a 7-second car. I understand you guys are going to go, you should just buy the notch. I have the notch. It is normal. I thought you'd be in the 15K range. You're having more done than what I initially heard you say. Everyone calm down. Oh, shit. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, and that's the thing. A lot of people gloss over what I say. Don't really listen. And typically go, oh, well, that you're getting taken for a ride. Then when I explain what needs to get done, they go, oh, wait, whoa. So on this episode, and we've seen with Tony and Hoosier, and again, Hoosier didn't hear everything I had to say, and Tony kind of stepped in it a little bit, Spotifino, basically underline what this Peasant Chat episode is about. If you have never done it, and if you have never paid for it, and if you have never, ever experienced something you're about to give advice on, don't talk on it. I have never gone 7s. I can't talk about 7s. I've never gone 6s. I can't talk about 6s. Have I tuned, been around, and seen cars do it based on what we've done? Abso-freaking-lutely. But Tony's like, go to this guy. And he has never had any work done by them in terms of the modular head game. And me being available in the ticket system, seeing thousands of cars that have builds by every engine builder on the planet. And I tell you, I hesitate to take my car to any shop except 2, and 2 of them are not modular 4-valve 5.4, 5.8 guys. That has to carry some weight based on the amount of data that I have. And also, we talked about this episode, just because you have a very fast car does not mean you know what the hell you're talking about or know what you're doing. I know many pro mod guys that don't know a goddamn thing, but they paid $100,000+ to have a chassis built. They pay $80,000+ for engine and power adder, and then they pay $5,000 a week for their tuner to be there all week, only to then go home and go on Facebook and give terrible advice on builds. But Alex, I saw a YouTube video and they seem cool, so I'm an expert now. Stepped in it, gang, to smash and devour. D's Nut says, Happy New Year's Eve. I can get you in touch with Doug Klein. You're paying too much, brother. I have advice. Take it. I'll get you his personal number. I'm good because I have personal experience with the person I am doing business with, and I am happy with the number he gave me, and he's been extremely communicative, and I'm going to take my car to him and give him some business. If he is okay with me telling the people who he is after the Fairmont's been done, I'll do that, but there's no need to shout things out right now. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get to the gym later on after the Benadryl wears off. hopefully you guys enjoy your New Year. New Year's one of those days that a lot of people reflect back on, bullshit, but don't get emotional. Don't be a fucking homo. Just get out there and get shit done. Don't sit there crying because you didn't do this or did that. And don't say New Year, new me, because tomorrow you're still the same motherfucker you were today. So just see it as another fucking day. Celebrate, have fun, be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't do anything stupid, because my family has a terrible track record on New Year's Day when they go out and get fucking smashed and drive and fucking cause accidents. So I'm staying my ass home just so that bad juju hasn't worn off on me. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys on January 2nd, Tuesday, for Talking Shit Tuesday. We'll get the New Year started right, clear out the sponsor board, and we'll see who wants to hop on board the Talking Shit channel and this channel, so we can go ahead and support the channel, support builds, and get you as much content in 2024 as much as we can. Have a good rest of your Sunday. See you guys later. Bye.